want to do.
Terence Crawford's 37. Devin Haney said he thinks he would like him to retire. Do you agree with that statement?
He can do whatever he wants to do. He's been dominating for a long time too, so he can do whatever he wants to do. I would like to see him retire because it would be hard for anybody to top that, and they definitely put him on the top 5 list, and he's able to stay there because he hasn't been beaten.
Last question. Is Terence Crawford the greatest of all time?
Absolutely the greatest of all time.
Where does he rank?
I don't know, but he's not the greatest of all time. Absolutely greatest of all time.
Roy Jones Jr. has just shattered the script for Terence Crawford's final act. While the entire boxing world is waiting for a massive Canelo rematch, Roy is pointing Bud in a completely different direction, one that legacy demands but almost no one saw coming. He's exposing the specific missing link in Crawford's record that only one man can fix, Erislandy Lara. This isn't just about another belt, it's about closing off the only door Crawford left open. And Roy Jones Jr. knows exactly why Lara is the dangerous puzzle piece that completes the masterpiece.
As Canelo Alvarez has been a great fighter his whole career, people like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier, and more meaner than both of those guys. So you know if they showed you the blueprint, Bud gonna go out there and take that blueprint and do even more with it.
To understand why Roy Jones Jr. is pushing for this specific move, you have to look at Terence Crawford's record. Bud has collected belts at 135, 140, 147, and 154 pounds, and then he leaped all the way up to 168 to dethrone Canelo. Do you see the gap? He completely ghosted the 160-pound middleweight division. In the eyes of a historian like Roy Jones, this is a missing link. Jones argues that going back down to capture a middleweight strap isn't a retreat, it's a strategic masterstroke. He calls it closing it off. If he secures a belt at 160, the sequence is complete, and the argument for the greatest fighter of this generation becomes undisputed.
I don't know. I mean, I think he may want to go get a middleweight title because he skipped over that. He went to dream middleweight. No, he went dream middleweight, then went super middleweight. So he may go back to just capture middleweight title to close the gap, like I wished I would have did with the cruiserweight title. So I think he does that, and that's it.
The middleweight division has been a strange wasteland for the last few years, stuck in the shadow of the bigger names at 168. But that silence is about to break. Roy Jones Jr. has identified this weight class as the perfect hunting ground because it's currently ruled by gatekeepers rather than global superstars. You have dangerous champions sitting there with belts that Crawford needs, but they lack the star power to demand the kind of terms Canelo does. This gives Crawford all the leverage. He wouldn't be the B-side begging for a shot. He would be the conqueror coming down to take what he feels is rightfully his. Jones sees this as the path of least resistance for maximum historical gain.
I did want to ask you about Terence Crawford as well.
Yep.
A lot going on with him at the moment. No one knows his next move.
Right.
What would you like his next move to be?
I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60, you closed it off. That's fine.
Yeah. Would you like to see a rematch with Canelo?
Not really.
Okay. What about Canelo, I guess? What would you like to see in the future
I
for
don't
him?
know. Canelo can do anything he wants to. He's done so much already. There's really not much left for him to do. So it's really, I think Canelo probably could either take the rematch or close the door because Canelo's done way more than that.
Here is where the timeline gets interesting. The 160-pound picture is foggy right now, but it clears up completely on December 6th, 2025. That's the date set for the massive unification bout between the WBO and IBF champion Janibek Alimkhanali and the WBA champion Erislandy Lara. This isn't just a fight, it's an audition. Roy Jones Jr.'s advice hinges on the winner of this specific clash. On one side, you have Janibek, the terrifying knockout artist from Kazakhstan who many have avoided. On the other, you have Erislandy Lara, the Cuban master and the oldest champion in the sport, who still possesses that tricky, high IQ style that frustrates everyone. Whoever walks out of the ring with those 3 belts becomes the instant target for Crawford.
Age-wise, of course, everybody's going to say Erislandy Lara because he's 40. Mm-hmm. But I would never come out of my mouth and call Erislandy Lara a weak link. Mm-hmm. I think there's no elite fighters at 160.
Mm-hmm. While Janibek is the young lion, there is a strong sense that Erislandy Lara might be the fight Roy Jones Jr. is secretly pointing toward if he pulls off the upset. Lara represents the old guard, a fellow technician who understands the sweet science on a level that matches Crawford. A fight between Crawford and Lara would be a chess match for the ages, a battle of southpaw mastery that purists would drool over. If Lara can survive the power of Janibek and unify the titles, he presents a legacy fight for Crawford against a name that has been relevant for over a decade. It's a chance to beat a man who gave Canelo fits years ago, adding another layer of "I did it better than you" to Crawford's rivalry with the Mexican star.
Bud's like my brother. I've been with them for the past probably 7 camps. He's taken 0 shortcuts. He's always 100% to himself. He never cheats himself, so. We're just in a routine. We know what happens. We come out here, just pass the time working out. Everything pass as fast. You work out so many times a day and get to it. You're working the whole time.
Crawford isn't just sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring. He is already making his moves. Recently, Crawford was spotted at the WBO convention, and he didn't mince words. He was sitting beside Janibek Alimkhanuly's team, looked the camera dead in the lens, and said, "I got my eyes on you." It was a chilling warning or a playful one, we don't know. But what we surely know is Crawford has his eyes on the 160-pound division.
My gut say the same thing. You know, I'm gonna sit down with my team, and we're gonna discuss what's next in the future for Terence Crawford. And you know, who knows? I might go down to 160.
Johnny, we're here next, looking for you, looking for December 6th. How are you gonna do it?
I got my eyes on you, Janibek.
This viral clip confirms that Roy Jones Jr.'s theory is already in motion. Crawford is stalking the middleweight champions. He knows that the winner of the December 6th showdown is holding the key to his 6th weight class title, and he wants them to know he's coming for everything they have. The other half of Roy Jones Jr.'s advice is perhaps the most controversial: leave Canelo alone. Jones believes that a rematch with Alvarez is a high-risk, low-reward scenario for Crawford's legacy. In Roy's view, Canelo has done enough. The Mexican superstar is recovering from elbow surgery and has miles on his odometer that are starting to show. Jones argues that Crawford has already beaten him. Doing it again proves nothing new. If Crawford loses the rematch, it tarnishes the first win. If he wins again, critics will just say Canelo was old and injured. It's a lose-lose situation disguised as a money grab.
To catch up at Canelo Crawford, I just want to get your reflections on that fight first.
It was a great fight by Crawford. Fought a very smart fight, just like I thought he would. The only problem I had was I was worried about his shoulder because some stuff came out about his shoulder being sore. So I didn't know about that. But if he didn't have any injuries, I knew it would be an easy walk for him.
Are you surprised by just how kind of confident and comfortable Terence was in there at all?
No, not at all. Because if you watch Canelo struggles with guys that can box. Terence can box from both sides, left-handed or right-handed. So how could you be surprised?
So there's a lot of talk about what next for both men. With Canelo Alvarez, where do you think he goes from here?
I don't know. I think they're trying to have a rematch, so I don't know.
Do you think he can right the wrongs in a rematch?
I don't think so, no.
Roy wants Crawford to chase history, not just another check, and the history lies in that missing middleweight belt, not in a repetitive sequel. The stakes here are astronomical. If Terence Crawford listens to Roy Jones Jr. and captures a world title at 160 pounds, he enters a pantheon that is almost empty. He would join Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya as one of the only men in history to win major world titles in 6 different weight classes. That is the kind of stat that separates the great from the immortal. It's a distinction that lasts forever, long after the money from a Canelo rematch is spent. Roy Jones Jr. knows this better than anyone. He jumped from middleweight to heavyweight to chase history. He sees that same spark in Crawford, and he's urging him to secure that 6th belt to ensure that when the book of boxing is written, the name Terence Crawford stands alone on the page.
Right, but in terms of a fantasy fight, if you'd have ever shared the ring with a 168 version of Terence Crawford, would that have been an intriguing matchup?
Not really. I like Terence. Terence is a very good fighter, but Terence grew up on Roy Jones. It's hard to tell you these guys are going to whoop Roy Jones when they grew up, and they still asking questions to Roy Jones about how he did things. So they don't fully understand Roy Jones yet either. So it's hard to beat Roy Jones if you don't fully understand him yet. You understand me? So I mean, it's cool. He's a great fighter, don't get it wrong. And it would have been an intriguing fight because he has a heart and he has confidence. And he's a very challenging guy. That's what I like about him the most. That's why I knew he'd beat Canelo, because he stands up to the challenge. So he would have been something to deal with for a few rounds earlier. But I was a different guy. I was much faster than 90% of people I fought. You understand me? So it's like, with my speed level and with the precision and things, even him, I had him training yesterday. I watched him put together some 4 and 5 punch combinations, and I think it shocked him because of how quick he can do it. So it's not about necessarily talent. It's talent too, but you gotta have know-how with talent. I had know-how along with talent. That's what this kid has.
Terence Crawford is standing at the final crossroads of his legendary career. One path leads to a massive bank deposit and a redundant war with Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, for sure. But it's still, when you look at it, it's still excuses. Like I said before the fight, every one of my biggest fights, I say, I'm gonna be prepared for the excuses. When you so great and you so much ahead of your competition, they look at the fighters that you fight and say they nobodies because how much you beat them by or the level of skills that you oppose against them. So when I fight this guy, it's all he was a nobody. When I fight this guy, all he was washed. When I fight this guy, it's an excuse, So who you want me to fight? I beat this guy, it's an excuse. I beat this guy, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really gonna get my full respect until afterwards. Yes, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. We really didn't realize it until now when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, and the way that I handled that, people like, oh, man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, so I just think, when you that much better than the competition, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man, I do.
The other path, illuminated by Roy Jones Jr., leads to the 160-pound division and a chance to close off a perfect run through the weight classes. The keys to the kingdom will be decided on December 6th when Lara and Janibek collide. Crawford has his eyes on the winner, and if he pulls the trigger on this move, he won't just be a champion, he'll be the only man to solve the puzzle of 6 divisions. The question is, will he take the advice of a legend, or will the allure of the Canelo payday be too strong to ignore? The clock is ticking, and the middleweight division is about to get very interesting.
I'm not gonna judge Crawford over his last performance from Canelo, because I don't care what a person say, they could say that Canelo's washed up, they say this, they say past his prime, yada, yada, yada. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at how he executed the plan and how he neutralized the threat. So he did a phenomenal job with that. Bowman came up with a great game plan for that. I really believe that Janibek can get outboxed. I think he's going to get outboxed. He goes into 160. It's all going to determine on how he look against Lara. Because Lara is a crafty southpaw. And remember, I said this to you before with William Skull and Canelo. I said if he struggles against William Skull and he boxes him, it's going to just keep the blueprint solid for Crawford. So it's one of those things. So Crawford is a nice southpaw. He's solid. He knows how to utilize a lot of things. And it's like little details that maybe some of the casuals don't see, like how he positioned his foot, how he made Canelo smother his shots and still gave Canelo better exchanges in the inside. It was a lot of high caliber. Like, you can tell why he deserves to be in that stage. But I got him boxing Janibek, and then after that, just walk away.
Well done. Right, so what's next for both fighters? Let's start with Terence Crawford. Where does he go? He's just stepped up to 168 pound and beat quite conclusively Canelo Alvarez there. And there's no one really now at super middleweight for him to test. Benavidez, he's gone up to light heavyweight. There's no one really in there. We saw Skull against Canelo, and Skull was quite slow and couldn't do much. I know Canelo stood off and didn't really stick it on him, but Skull showed no ambition. It's not a fight I want to see. I think really the only fight for both of these guys, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, is the rematch. Because where does Canelo go from here now? He's got a guy stepping up from welterweight, serving him up a bit of a whooping, because that's what it was. And now he's got, like, where does he go? He can't really compete up at light heavyweight because Bivol's done him. Benavidez has gone up to there now, and I don't think that's a fight he's going to fancy. I feel like a lot of people are saying he swerved that Benavidez fight, so I don't think he's going to want to go up to light heavyweight and fight him. So it's like the only sensible option, or the only real option, is the rematch. And that's the same for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's now 168 pounds. Who does he fight? Who does he go for next? It's difficult. There's no other real big names. I mean, there's a kid in England called Hamza Shiraz who's tapping on the door for something big. And I had a chat with him yesterday, and he's talking about the Canelo fight, and he'd take that. But realistically, is Canelo Alvarez or Terence Crawford going to want to jump in with Hamza Shiraz? I mean, Shiraz has got a great future ahead of him. I think he's going to do really well. But he's not in that mix, is he? If he gets an opportunity, go for it. Don't think Crawford would be interested. Canelo, it does nothing for him. So these two, really, the only fight for him is the rematch.
Is Canelo done after this? And if he's not, he has 2 more fights with Turki Al-Sheikh. What other 2 fights can we see from him?
It's funny because when people ask me, are fighters done or this and that, I could never answer for a fighter if they're done or not, because it's a very personal decision from the fighter, including Canelo. As much as I hate him, actually, I don't hate, I just don't care for him. But if he wants to fight again or if he doesn't, that's obviously his decision. I have to respect that. So, but obviously, look, again, Crawford just took him to school. That's basically it. That's the bottom line. I mean, Crawford is older than Canelo, so we can't use the excuse that he's older, right? We can't use the excuse that, oh, well, he moved around too much. Well, it's your job to figure him out, right? Just like Chavez would figure out a fighter, just like I would figure out a fighter, just like any real great fighter can figure styles out. That's your job. I think Crawford did a tremendous job. Kudos to him. Sky's the limit for Crawford, and I really don't know where Canelo goes, seriously.
So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.